Hey, Kelsi, good morning. Just another week of opportunity for your team. What are you hoping to see now that you have suffered your first loss, but just to be able to kind of learn from that?
I think that's something we're definitely going to have to assess. I think being able to share the ball and finishing, we have to finish at the rim and we got to make open shots when those permit. So when you get those open shots, you got to knock them down. I mean, I thought that was one of the biggest differences is they got a couple of open threes and we didn't combat that. But just making sure that we're more fluid on offense, fixing some things defensively, and limiting our turnovers. So we have some things to work on today, obviously.
Now that you've obviously had 5 games, what are some things that maybe has surprised you about your team that you didn't know entering the season?
Just seeing how they handle pressure, seeing how they handle adversity. It's an entire new team, entire new coaching staff. So I think it's going to be a learning curve for at least this first semester and going into even, the spring semester. There's going to be a lot of things that we have to learn. But if we're not learning, then we're not growing. So I'll take the learning each and every day because it's an opportunity for us to grow, for us to build, and for us to get better. And as a whole, I do appreciate the fact that my players are playing really hard. They don't stop. When we make adjustments at halftime, they're receptive to adjustments and they're trying to go out and execute that. I think it's a matter of finding the right combinations, the right chemistry, the right mixes in order for us to continue to grow and be successful.
Yeah, speaking of finding the right mixes, you've experimented with a lot of different lineups. Do you feel like you've been able to maybe learn a little bit more about just moving forward into the schedule, maybe some of the best lineups that'll work for you?
Yeah, and that's something that we're kind of evaluating still. Just, looking at different stats, looking at combinations, but also looking at the chemistry and who's communicating, who's, helping us get stops at a high rate, but also who can share the basketball and score at a high rate. So there's a lot of things that kind of, in my opinion, go into that. So still kind of assessing that and finding the best fits for certain games. And I think in certain situations, we've gone to some guard lineups, which won't happen as often in SEC play because some of the teams are obviously more post dominant. So, some of the things that we're having to kind of figure out right now will still change and it will be ever changing throughout the season, in my opinion. So we're really assessing that and looking at it and working on those things as well.
I'll turn it over to other people.
Brett. Yeah, Kelsey, following up, I think Ethan kind of stole a little bit of my thunder there, but you talked about Emily being a three and a four and a one for you over the last couple of years. If she's able to play some one with Yvette, does that allow you then to go bigger or have more size on the floor?
Yeah, definitely. I think it does. Like like I said, she's kind of a glue kid. She does all the things, the intangibles, things that don't always make the stat sheet. And the fact that she can be a one, she can play about any position on the floor. Especially when teams press us, having more of a guard oriented backcourt to where we're trying, she's inbounding it to potentially get it right back. And we have a little tandem. I think that really started to help us when we made that adjustment against Tech and their pressure. So the fact that she can play multiple positions, she's comfortable taking it out, but she's also comfortable bringing it up, really does help us as we move forward.
Was Yvette okay when she got some minutes under her belt? Was she a little bit sore? Was it good just for her to be back and contributing?
I think it's just great for her to be back. I mean, she's such a leader. She's such a strong, presence on the floor because of her ball handling, the fact that she can shoot it and she can get downhill. So it was just nice to be able to get her some minutes and slowly ease her back into being comfortable and confident. And I just think that it's just going to really help us because we'll be able to settle in because she's a true point guard.
One more thing, you've talked about going fast, and I've asked you questions about that, but you also just today talked about finishing at the rim. Do you think some of your players are struggling with going so fast that their feet aren't underneath them at times, or they're just getting a little bit discombobulated because they're trying to go fast, but they aren't finishing the ultimate score at the basket?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I also think they've got to, like they're also playing some high level talent and they're getting, a little it's physical. And so when they actually get to the rim and it's open, I think they're a little bit shocked that we're able to get that wide open a few times. I think just settling in and understanding they've got to get their head and eyes up a little bit quicker. And then just making sure, I think also, being able to finish strong and not, you don't always have to be crafty. And I think sometimes they're trying to be crafty when there's contact, but then when there's not contact, you just got to be fundamental and understand when to utilize each layup.
Dudley.
Coach, obviously you want to lead from start to finish, but how good is it to see them early on show fight to come from behind in games, and also the other day on Sunday, got way down and fought and and got it within reason.
I love the fact that my kids have no quit in them. And I think that's something that, is going to be necessary in order to, rebuild the culture. I think that that speaks highly of the culture that we're implementing and the fact that my players embrace the change, embrace the coaching, because we do make adjustments at timeouts and halftime, and they're able to really, put that into play once they get back on the court. And the fact that they play that hard, I love that. And you can't put a price tag on their energy and their effort in those situations to fight and come back from almost, I mean, a 20-point deficit a couple of times. We hit a couple of shots down that stretch. It was an 11-point game. We hit a couple of shots. Now we're within, it's a single digit game. And I think that changes things, especially mentally for a team.
And also, you're getting pretty close to having finals, getting that out of the way. Talk about these few games, the ones in Nashville and over the break, a chance to get, a lot of practice in and get a lot better.
And that's the thing, I tell them every day, it's almost like climbing a mountain. Every time we have the opportunity to practice and especially play a game, we have to get a little bit better. We can't have, we can't take 3 steps forward to go 5 steps backwards. We got to climb and get a little bit better each and every day, because basketball is a really long season. And if we do that, we'll have an opportunity to be successful.
Appreciate it.
Z, you got anything?
Coach, I just want to ask you about rebounding. I know that's been important, and your bigs have rebounded a little bit, but you probably want a little more. Just your thoughts on competing on the glass so far.
There's been games where I thought we've done pretty well, but I think you're right. We have to do a better job of owning the boards. There's been times when they've, assumed that a kid was going to make a shot and went down the floor and didn't finish the play. You got to play all the way to the very last possession. You got to play to the horn. You got to play the whistle. You got to play through things. And I think, our bigs have to do a better job of really, owning the boards. I think honestly, my guards have been out rebounding my posts a little bit in certain situations, and my post players have got to make sure that they're snatching that basketball and protecting it at a higher rate.
Yeah. You probably hadn't had a chance to dig too much on Little Rock yet. I know when Joe Foley was there, obviously great man-to-man defense, really good motion offense. His longtime assistant now going through year 2. I'm sure they're probably playing the same way, but they're going to, if they're playing the same way they used to, they're pretty methodical. It'll be a little contrast in styles to how Kelsi Musick likes to play. Thoughts
Yes.
on?
Yeah, definitely. They definitely are, in my opinion, are still sticking to a lot of that motion offense. So we've got to make sure that we're containing the rim and not putting them at the foul line. They can definitely get downhill and they're going to want to shoot the three ball a little bit, but they really run that motion still, and then they're going to man to man. And we got to make sure that if they try to get up in the passing lanes a little bit, we utilize our jump stops better. I love the fact that my kids go hard towards the rim, but like we also have to have a little bit more finesse and a little bit more, understanding when to go hard and when to attack to kind of draw the defense to share the basketball. So I think our decision making's really got to pick up. We can't be getting as many charges as we have been. So I think that they've got to see that, and that's something we've been discussing, we've been working on to help them understand that, yeah, you want to attack to score, but at the same time, if you're attacking to collapse the defense and sharing the basketball, that's a success. And we've got to get the ball shifted from side to side, because if we can create more closeout, we're going to get easier, better shots.
Coach, last one from me. Christina, she's always kind of been this bull, kind of a bull in a china cabinet player, athletic, long, but she's made some shots for you. She seems more confident. And she's going to defend. She's scrappy. She's tough. Talk about Christina Sanchez, a little, coach.
Man, I think she's really starting to come on and have a better understanding of our expectations, our offense and our defense. I agree. She's long. She can really defend. I think she's really been working on her passing, which has definitely helped us. She made that really good pass to Harmony in transition the other day. So we've been really honing in on the dribbling and the passing to really help her confidence. And then she can get downhill and she's a rebounder. And I think when she focuses on those little things, she can really come in and help us and be a spark plug for us. And I just hope that she continues to grow in her confidence and embrace being just an impact player in those moments because she definitely has been for us.